Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Adamant Algorithm. This is Surain and today we are actually going to do a Unity 2D project about creating an overhead health bar. In other words, basically, you must have seen this technique in most of the strategy games, the over-the-top games like that. There will be a red line of health bar on top of the moving character or the player that you control, and when you actually hit something or something bad happens to you, the health reduces, and it's a visual representation of how much health you actually have left. So that's exactly what we are going to do in this 2D project today. As you can see, I have a very simple scene. I'll play the game. I'll show you quickly what I have in here. I have an enemy, which is the fire, and that is a very simple movement script attached to my character, and that is a coin. Well, you must have figured it by now. The fire is bad and the coin is good. Well, coins are always good. Well, when the character moves and touches this fire, the health will be reducing for the bird. So we are going to create that effect visually, meaning there will be a red color health bar on top of the bird. When the fire touches the bird, the health will be reducing. And the coin, since I said it's so good, when you touch the coin, the health will be increasing. So that's exactly our logic for today. And I'll show you the player script. There is nothing fancy. I'm getting the speed, and there is, a couple of inputs. I'm getting it from the keyboard, and actually moving it by transform.translate. Well, and one more thing I actually do have is I have a custom made health bar. The graphics I made it by Photoshop by myself, but nothing fancy, just four of them. Just for the sake of explaining this project, I kept it as simple as possible. And this sprite sheet I actually dragged and dropped. I mean, for example, I stripped into an individual pictures from this sprite sheet. If you are wondering how I did that, please do watch my how to handle sprite, how to create individual sprites from a sprite sheets video. For now, let's concentrate on creating the health bar. Well, basically, to start with, I'm actually go and create an empty game object. I'm gonna call it health. Oops, sorry, health bar. And in the health bar, I'm gonna create a sprite renderer. Whatever we're gonna do today, it's all about sprite renderer. Okay, so let's take a look what we have here. We have an empty object and the sprite renderer is actually currently empty. So what we will do is let's analyze how many pictures we have. We have a picture that is a starting stage where the health is completely full, and it actually goes up to when the character is about to die. So let's count it backwards. Number 4, 3, 2, 1. So we have 4 pictures where when the health is full, it's gonna be 4. So let me explain you the logic for what we're gonna do today. In this here, by default, I'm gonna drag this picture into this sprite sheet. So by default, the health will be 4. So when the health is reduced, meaning when the fire touches the bird, I'm actually going to reduce this picture from 4 to 3, which means instead of this picture, I'm going to load this picture. When again the health reduces, I'll go to this picture and load it there. And when the character is about to die, this picture. After this, it's totally up to you. You can make the character die, or you can create an animation of the character burning or whatsoever. Okay, and the other thing is the coin logic is going to be exactly reversed. So I'm going to say it very quickly. So 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So if the bird touches the coin, if the health is here, I will move this way. Meaning, just change the pictures in here. So visually, the player will know how much health is left. Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to do today. Let's go ahead. So now the health bar, let's drag our first health. Oops, that's too big. So reduce the size of it until it makes some sense. Just move a bit. Okay, cool, that's fine. And what we're gonna do is let's go ahead and start our script. Let's call it help script, new script, create an ad, wait for a while. Okay, there we go. So we go ahead and double click our health script. Okay, let's do one by one. First of all, we need to have public health. I made it public because I might use it in the future from the other script. So 4. If you're wondering why I've actually made the number 4, because you remember we got 4 pictures, 4, 3, 2, 1. So when I say 4, I'm thinking about the health is full by default at the starting. When it reduces, I will go this way. Now, so what we need more is we need sprites, because how many sprites we have? 4, because 4, 3, 2, 1 is what we seen. We have 4 pictures, so let's create 4 sprite. So what the serialized field do is it actually will open up an opportunity for us to drag and drop our picture by ourselves in the Unity editor itself. That's what serialized field does. Serialized field sprite, let's give a name that we can find out, health 4, or we say health at 4, anything that you want. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this guy. Not feeling like typing today. Control V, 3, Control V. So health is at 2. Control V, health is at 1. Guys, by the way, there is more efficient way of doing this, because you could use arrays instead of typing this much. It's not very memory efficient, this method, but since this is a Unity beginner series, I really don't want to complicate things, and that's why I'm doing this way. But once you actually get more experience in Unity, you can go ahead and figure out the more memory efficient way by using arrays. Or I'm thinking about creating another video where I talk about arrays. You could watch that if you could. Then serialized field private sprite. The next thing is we need to have a sprite renderer. So what we can do is we can actually say sprite renderer, give a name, change sprite, anything we want. Okay, so we have a sprite renderer component. Now, whenever you actually want to access a component, it's always a good idea to go to and get the component ready in the start function. So we're gonna change sprite is equal to get component sprite renderer, and here it is. So what we are actually doing is, let me show you this way. Oh my god, hang on a second. Not oops. Oh no. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I am using this sprite renderer serialized field, for example. Because it's serialized field, we can see it here, health 4, 3, 2, 1, and this is a sprite renderer component I'm talking about. So we are actually declaring a sprite renderer component in here, and in the start function, if you want to use it, you are making this ready in here so that this component will be ready during the runtime so that we can change this area. Okay, that's exactly what we are doing here. Okay, go back to it. Oops. All right. So now that's been explained. Let's go ahead now and fill our fields like health sprite 0 and health at 3, health is at 2, health is at 1. Okay, so now we need to figure a way when this number reduces, we need to traverse from this to this, this to this, and this to this. This is exactly what we're going to do. Before we apply using a collider, we will check our script. We will check our script straight away by changing this number in runtime. And if that changes, we have achieved it 50% of our goal for today. Now, I'm going to use if function. And again, there are a lot of efficient way of actually declaring one line statement, but it's going to be a lot of if statements here just to keep the logic clear for today. Okay, so what we are actually going to say is if health, not health at 4, that health variable is equal to 4, which means when the health is full, what we need to say is we actually it's one thing we're gonna say game object dot get component sprite renderer because it's attached to a game object. The sprite renderer, you remember we actually made it into a empty object, then renamed it, then dragged and dropped our sprite renderer. So it's best to say game object dot game component, get component. Now health is equal to 4. What happens is change sprite dot sprite, which means it's equal to when the health is 4, it has to be health at 4 sprite, correct? And we're gonna copy this, Control C, Control V, Control V, and Control V. When the health is at 4, this one. When the health is at 3, it has to be health at 3, correct? When the health is at 2, it has to be health at 2 sprite. And when the health is at 1, it has to be this sprite. Let me quickly explain. This number represents the variable health and this represents the sprite. So when the health is 4, we are actually going to make sure the sprite that represents the full health is displayed. When the health is 3, we will traverse to the next sprite. So that's the logic. Now let's go here, wait for it to compile. Okay, then click on play. Okay, so let's create this number. Cool. Can you see? I make it 3. I make it 2. See? I'll make it 1. Ooh la la. So now congratulations, we have achieved 50% of what we are doing. In fact, I would say 70% because the next one is really simple. Okay, I'm gonna make it 4. Now, we have achieved what we wanted to do in this, but we need to find a way when this character touches the fire, the health has to reduce. So we need to deduct the collision. So we're going to do, there are several ways of doing it: on collision enter, on collision exit, on trigger enter, on trigger exit, or whatsoever. So in this particular method, I feel that trigger gonna be a very good option because trigger will not cause a collision, but it always pass the collision information to Unity editor. That's exactly what we want in creating or achieving this effect for today. Now, what we're gonna do today is, I'm sorry, if you've been doing it, let's go ahead and create the other one. Next thing we need to check is the fire, which is this one. As you can see, it's a very simple animation sprite, and I have a animator attached to the game object, and that's responsible for animating the fire. And I have a very simple box collider 2D, but you need to notice this one, it says is trigger. Okay, by mistake I have actually made this as a trigger, so you don't need it. Most important one is tag. Okay, so the name of the object is fire, and I have actually given a tag name fire. And for the coin, if you see, the tag is coin, because we are going to use this concept in our scripting very soon. We need to deduct which object we are actually touching up. So I'm gonna go to the health bar now. Press F. Okay, so what are the components you need to make this happen is, first of all, you actually need, First of all, you actually need a collider because triggers comes with the collider. And this is a default collider, you can see. But the problem is, this is the character, guys. This is the character. So now the collider is obviously it's Unity natural way of showing the collider around the object, but we are actually going to make it in a natural way for this particular exercise because this is where the fire is, and if the object touches here, we need to detect the collision in this area and not in this area. So what we will do is we'll go to the health bar, edit the collider, and I actually move it on top of this guy, so it will make a lot of sense. Okay, And let's not forget, we are going to use trigger function, so make sure you do a tick mark in this. Okay, it's triggered. All right, and the other one is, you guys know the triggers works better when you actually have rigid body with it. So we need to have a rigid body, but I'm going to actually reduce the gravity scale so it will not fall off. Okay, so let's play and see whether everything is fine. I'm playing it. The character is moving. Don't worry about it. We will actually find a way for the health one. And it's just adding a child, and that will do it at the end. Okay, so nothing weird happening, so we are cool. All right. So what we do is we go to the health script, and actually after the update function, we create a trigger function. So we say on trigger enter 2D collider to the other if other dot game object dot compare tag is fire. What happens? Health minus. So what we are doing today, what we are doing here now is on trigger enter 2D, which means other is. Let me explain this code quickly. We have a collider that is actually a trigger around our bird in the health bar. Okay, it is attached to the health bar, and this script is attached to the health bar. So if something else, if we enter into a collider of other object, and if the other object tag name is fire, reduce the health by 1. That's exactly what we do. So if you go back here, I will explain this here. If we enter the collider of another object, and if this guy's name is here, as we said, fire, then reduce the health, which is this guy, by 1. We already have set when the health is 3, this will be changed to this. So that will make a lot of sense, correct? So that's our logic. Let's see whether it works. Okay, so health minus minus, and it's a trigger. Cool. So let's check this concept by playing the game. Click play. We move the character. Wait. So health bar. Health script. Oh, okay. So the player is here. All right, sorry. Anyway, this is a good thing. The player is here, and the player is moving and touching the fire, but it's not attached to the health bar yet. So anyway, this is anyway we are going to do it. So put this as the child of the player, so it actually moves with the player. Ooh la la, there we go. Touch again, done. Touch again, oops, almost gonna die. Touch again, nothing happens because we are not doing anything. That's your job. So whatever happens after here is you be the god. Okay, now so the next thing is we go ahead and change this. I mean, for example, we need one more if statement for increasing the health, correct? So we go here and change this to coin. I already showed you that we actually set the into coin, and in this time we are actually increasing the health to plus plus. Now we go back here. Okay, play the game. Just let me just make it a bit bigger. Play the game. Oops, got hurt. Wait. Oh, okay. Coin sprite. So, well, basically, we don't have a collider, correct? Because we need to have a collider for this to happen. So, we go here and click the play button. And now we see touch the fire. Cool. Touch the coin. Yep, that's it. one more again, one more, no. So take the coin, full, that's it. So guys, this is basically, you if you go back to the code, rather than having reducing the health or increasing it, you can actually keep adding a lot of scripts right here whenever this happens. So basically, this is what this whole video is about, how to actually create a overhead health bar. I know I told you before there are several other ways of doing it. This is my way of doing it, and there are more efficient way when you actually come to learn what do you call the arrays. For now, this is okay. If you have come until this far, I think you like the video. So please do subscribe. This is a very new channel of mine, and I'm trying to actually create as many videos as possible. Please do support. Please do subscribe if you actually like the content of this channel. And I'm active on Twitter. If you have any doubts in achieving or following this tutorial, please do ping me in Twitter, and I will try to explain to you as soon as possible. Okay, so thanks for watching the video, and hope this is helpful for you guys, and keep learning and never stop learning. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.